I don't know behind the scenes.
And Quentin Miller,
publicly, I felt like Quentin minded his fucking business.
And not only that, Quentin Miller didn't do anything wrong, and he's a talented artist.
Very talented.
Listen, everybody did something wrong.
No, Rory and Mal.
All right, listen, welcome to another episode of the new Rory and Mal podcast. I feel crazy saying that because like we in the house chilling and we have a very special guest with us today.
That worked when we were doing the BET Awards and had 5 minutes in a loud ass room.
Yeah, speaking of the BET Awards, we sat with Drama at the BET Awards for the Media Hub, and the conversation was so genuine and so cool. We felt like we had to have a more long form conversation.
I appreciate that.
So here we are today. Drum, welcome, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We know you on the road right now with Wiz and Logic.
Yep.
Y'all had Jersey last night. So we appreciate you just stopping by and kicking with us.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure of mine. What number guests am I? How many guests have you guys?
We're not like a super guest based podcast like that, and it kind of has to be like friends to do the guest shit.
Right.
I think Logic, who ended up becoming a friend, but he was the first time I think we did a guest that we didn't know.
Yeah,
that was our first time meeting him.
It was Logic.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. How is that tour with Wiz and Logic?
It's dope. It's fun. I've been going out on tour with Wiz since 2014. So 2014, went out with Wiz. I think it was called the what was that tour called?
Something with Kush, I would imagine.
I forget the name of it, but it was that was Fall Out Boy tour. It was the one before that.
Pause at the boys.
So we did.
It's a wild name for a tour.
The first year we went out, it was me, Wiz, Jeezy, Rich Homie Quan, Sage the Gemini, and I Am Sue. Then the next year I went out and it was me, Wiz, and Fall Out Boy. And that was like 2 months. That was our longest 2 months. And that year we had just signed Uzi and we took him on the road and Uzi would come out on my set. Then the next year we went out, it was Wiz, Snoop, Kevin Gates, Janae Aiko, and me. And then did he go out in 20? I don't think he went out in 2017. In 2018, he went out with Ray Shrimmer. And, for some reason, however.
Does Wiz ever go home?
He works a lot.
Yeah, he lives on the road. Wiz is on the road.
Yeah,
a lot.
he works a lot. And it's dope to watch somebody of his caliber be able to tour like year after year after year, even if he doesn't technically have a hit record out. I definitely remember being out when like what's the song called? The big one.
The Fast and the Furious, right?
What's it called? No, See You Again. Like we went out, I think that was 2015, and that was when it was like on fire. Then I didn't go out one year, and Wiz wound up telling his manager Will, like, yo, we're never doing this shit without Drama again. Because I'm in between acts. I keep the crowd hype up, excited, so it's no real downtime.
It's just so underrated in shows, I feel like.
Nah, it's I agree. And I think, it like what I've done with Wiz, it's comparable to like what Capri would do back in the day on tours, or, I know Clue I did a couple during the Def Jam era. So then 19, we went out and it was Wiz, myself, Moneybag, French, and Playboy Cardi. Playboy Cardi wound up only doing maybe like 2 or 3 shows, and then he dropped out of the tour. And then COVID hit, and then we came back. And this year it's Wiz and Logic, which is dope. I've definitely been familiar with Logic and his music over the time, but I can't front. I was a little surprised to see how big his fan base is.
It's huge.
Yeah, he's definitely huge. So, and going out with Wiz is somebody that in the business, I really consider like a friend. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I know everybody. I'm not really the type of guy that like, you won't see me at a lot of like the quote unquote industry functions, or, I'll
stay to your circle, the guys that you connect with.
I'm with the fam. Like I'm with my business partners, my friends, our people. But, again, Wiz is someone I've known since 2008, 2009, since I've been going to Pittsburgh, and I was definitely an early supporter. So, he's a great guy, and, we have a great relationship. So, and I love it. I just love the vibe, the summer tour, Wiz's fan base and going out. And what's really crazy, is like this year, it's like, even when I like walk on the stage, like when I come out for my first set, it's like I'm hearing these kids like literally chanting my name, drama, drama, drama. And it's like, wow, it's like even 8 years into touring with Wiz, you know, I'm at a place in my career where it's like, you know, I'm as relevant as ever, you know, and the audiences sometimes get younger and younger. You know, when I say, you know, if you was born in the year 2000 or after, you know, it's louder than, I don't think I've ever even said that on a tour, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, clearly there's majority 90s babies in there, but there's a lot of 2000s and after. And the fact that they're, you know, familiar with me or, you know, are still excited to see me is like, you know, it's somewhat surreal and very humbling in a way. And, you know, I know just my recent projects with Tyler and, you know, with Dreamville or, you know, them knowing me because of Jack. Like it's always interesting, like what people know me for. You know, there's a generation that clearly knows me for Gangsta Grills. Right. You know, I meet women who know me because of Wishin', my record with Chris Brown. And there's people that know me because of Uzi and Jack. And now there's people that know me because of Tyler, Call Me If You Get Lost. So, you know, it's just dope, like just to, you know, and then there's people that know the whole span, but there's definitely like various audiences that are familiar with me because of a significant point or period in my career, you know?
Does the set have to change because of that? Especially with like Logic being with Wiz and obviously a younger generation knowing you. Can you play the old Gangsta Grill stuff on this tour, or do you have to kind of stay?
I don't really touch on it. I mean, you know, my set
at all.
Very little. I mean, like on my first set, I play some Wayne, but I don't play Gangsta Grill's Wayne. Like I don't play Cannon, for instance. Okay, could I possibly? You know, but. I know they're more familiar with a Millie, you know what I'm saying? So, but I talk about like, you know, when I get on stage, I'll talk about like, yo, has anyone ever listened to my mixtapes? Is anybody familiar? And I get a lot of hands and, you know, they definitely know Call Me If You Get Lost or, you know, people know my catalog and I hear them screaming out various things. So, you know, I've done tapes with everybody. So it's like, you know, whether it could be a Kevin Gates tape or a Chris Brown tape, like, a Gucci tape, like it, you know, the span of what people, you know, love or you know, signify me with is like always interesting to me.
I'm curious if the Logic fans would like Lil Wayne. I'd be terrified to DJ in front of
you know what?
I feel like if you don't play 36 Chambers, but they're also 14 years old. So
I feel like Logic fans and Lil Wayne fans are kind of similar.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they are.
I mean, Logic is a spitter. Like Logic's a rapper. So I feel like if you're a Logic fan, like when you say 36 Chambers, are you talking about like Wu-Tang?
Yeah, I feel like you would have to play like that type of hip hop. Because I know Logic likes that type of shit. I'm sure he loves Wayne too, but I don't know if his fan base, I feel like they would be the purists. But they're also very young, so I wouldn't even know.
I think that's going a little deep.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the younger fans would be the nerdy, like hip-hop research everything type of thing.
I play more Uzi and more fucking Check West, or
I would be terrified
than I do 36 Chambers per se. You know,
I was surprised to find out in talking to like kids born in 2000. I was surprised to see how much they love Playboi Carti. Like I had no idea.
Oh my God,
he was like
God.
Oh,
like I'm late to that. I did not know that.
On a whole nother level.
Yeah. I did not know that. Oh. And I'm like, I'm talking about kids that are like 15, 16. I'm like, who's your favorite rapper? Playboi Carti. And I'm like, really?
Out of this world. Have you seen footage of Carti's performances?
Yeah.
Like this shit is bananas.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, I have not been attacked online the way I have like Playboi Carti fans. I thought it was the Barbs. When the Donda show happened and Playboi Carti came out and like the shit, I think I tweeted something like Kanye brought out Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, that was on your top.
Oh my! I could probably refresh it right now. This was what 6 months ago. Right. Still on my ass about that shit.
Yeah, I feel like there's Uzi and there's Carti, and you know they are like the fathers of that generation in a sense. Like Thug is the grandfather, and then Uzi and Carti are the fathers, and then you know there's the ones.
Do you feel everything comes from Wayne?
I feel like a lot comes from Wayne. I feel like there was Pac. right? And then a lot came from Pac, like the DMXs, the Ja Rules, 50, Dwayne, you know, when it comes to style and, you know, just aura or tattoos or things like that.
Yeah.
And then, then a lot of the rappers from there, in a sense, are, you know, of this generation are all Wayne babies.
I know you're on the road with Wiz. What was the conversation like with you and Wiz in regards to the whole DJ situation in LA?
So, you know, a friend of mine actually sent me the video before it went viral. I was in the club when he sent it to me, and I didn't really like. I didn't really get a chance to like watch it, or I couldn't hear it. I think I watched it, but I couldn't hear it. And I woke up that morning to it, and I had seen it went viral, and you know, like, you know, me watching it is like, shit, like something had to happen. You know, Wiz is one of the coolest, most down to earth guys in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And you know, to watch that interaction was like, you know. And as a DJ, you know, it was like, or even as a man, you know, off top, Wiz was wrong,
right?
You know, like I don't give a fuck. It turned into a rapper DJ thing,
yeah.
But it's just a man thing. Like you can't put your hands on no man, like you know. And him hitting the kid's hat off his head, like he was dead wrong, you know. But you know, I also watched this like DJ campaign start about like trying to cancel Wiz, or you know, we're not having this, or you know, like, and I really felt like, and I'm gonna just speak the real, since I'm with good company. Like DJs at times can be very sensitive creatures.
I was gonna ask, do you think DJs are some of the most sensitive in the genre?
Absolutely.
I think rappers are too, though.
Well, let's talk about DJs first, and then at one point I would put program directors in that box too.
Okay.
Over the last 7-8 years, because of streaming, program directors haven't had as much power as they once did.
Right.
I mean,
they're also very sensitive creatures.
Ebro's on camera now.
Yeah.
Right. So DJs, and some of it is warranted, some of it's not. But, you know, DJs are the people that a lot of times break these artists' music.
Absolutely.
You know, and then they feel like the artists go on and become these superstars, and they don't double back or show the appreciation or show the love, which is sometimes true and which is sometimes not. You know, and the thing about it so I felt like DJs were using this situation for their own personal sandbox to stand on. Yeah. And to be very self-righteous in a lot of ways, and you know, point the finger at Wiz and what he did wrong and say, oh, we're not. And I'm not talking about any DJ specifically, by no means. Right. I'm just talking about as a whole, like this whole DJ United thing. Like cut it out, guys. Like I hear you guys argue.
DJ union all of a sudden.
Yeah, like I hear you guys arguing about somebody undercutting the other one or doing this, or like fucking rappers have been disrespecting DJs for a long time. Right. In this situation, if like there's public figures that we know in entertainment and in sports, when a certain situation has become public, and the next thing you know, story after story after story comes out, like, oh, whether it deals with women or what have you. However, that's not the case with Wiz. Like, it's not like after the situation happened, everybody had a horrible Wiz Khalifa story. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like the man fucked up. He made a mistake. You know, I'm sure there's more to the story. And, you know, again, the DJ, Mikey Danger, I know him. He's a great guy. He's a very humble kid. Like, he definitely didn't deserve that. And, you know, I'm sure he didn't want to be known or garnish the attention for being the kid that Wiz Khalifa knocked his hat off. You know what I'm saying? And, you
Does he have to change his name now?
That's a question you have to ask him.
He has to rebrand?
But
well, he was in danger.
You know, but again, like, and that was something that I felt like Wiz owed him a one-on-one apology.
Yeah, I agree.
I know he reached out. You know, I don't know. if they had ever spoken. But I also, you know, and I didn't want to come off as biased because I'm literally on tour with the guy right now, but I wanted to give him the opportunity to, you know, to at least like speak his piece. And, you know, as I saw the DJs kind of like, you know, kind of like just, I don't know, like, I don't like just starting this whole cancel campaign and like ganging up on Wiz. Like I felt it was unfair. And I actually like, I was trying to reach out to Kid Capri. Kid Capri went, you know, made a statement. And, you know, Wiz, even him and Kid had their own conversation.
And you got sat down with Envy too, right?
Envy wound up calling me around that time. And I had just got off the phone with Wiz and we were speaking and I was like, look, we could just go on my gram. Like he was like, yo, let's just do something. Like, let's go on your platform and, you know, speak your piece. And I was cool with that. And I don't want to underestimate my platform, but when Envy called me and he was like, yo, I'll come down there, we can do it and put it on the Breakfast Club. You know, for me, it was like, it's not really about me. Like I could easily just do it myself and me go viral and it'd be a Drama and Wiz thing. But I was like, yo, having Envy there, you know, two DJs of our stature, and then also having that platform at the Breakfast Club, I was sure that the message would gain the traction that was necessary to put it all to bed. Because at the end of the day, you know, the news was going to be old in 3, 4, 5 days and everyone was going to move on. But if Wiz didn't address it, the DJs might not have moved on. And I was like, yo, I seen DJs making comments like, let's cancel Wiz. I don't even play Wiz in the club anyway. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even play the man's music anyway. Like, why are you so...
And
why are you ready to? Why are you ready to be Al Sharpton? Like, cut it the fuck out.
And Wiz, to me, it was surprising, one, because Wiz has always been known as the cool guy.
Absolutely.
And I think he had an uncool moment for maybe the first time that I can remember, and DJs didn't like it. And like you said, I didn't even know Kid Capri had an Instagram. I didn't even know he was on social media.
Yeah.
I'm from the Bronx. I love Kid Capri.
That's disrespectful.
Probably one of the first mixtapes I ever brought was a Kid Capri
tape.
And
you don't follow him on the gram?
I don't follow him on the gram. But it was good to see. It was good to see.
No money bags under Capri?
No, not at all. But it was good to see Kid Capri voice his opinion and be like, yo, that was fucked up. Because it was, but canceling Wiz, Wiz is cool, bro. He had an uncool moment. That was all.
And Kid's perspective was, and he had just did the Breakfast Club and he had kind of been speaking about something similar. And he was like, I just don't want Wiz to be an example of younger rappers thinking it's cool to disrespect the DJ.
It's honestly the Chris Rock, Will Smith situation
100%.
With comedians. Like, we have to nip this in the bud now because we're just going to get smacked every show at this point.
It literally felt like the same type of situation. Yeah. You know, and it was like, people were like, what Wiz is such the cool guy. Like, what's going on inside of him that made him do that?
Yeah, it was something
Same
else.
thing they did with Will, where they were like, yo, Will is like, we never would expect that from Will. And then, you know, here was the victim in Chris Rock or in Mikey Danger, where it was like, they didn't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? And
I've been to Poppy when Mikey Danger was DJing. He's not that bad of a DJ.
No, he's a great
dope.
DJ.
He's had Poppy turned up a few nights.
He's opened up for me plenty.
No, he's a great DJ.
Yeah.
He's opened up for me numerous times in the last decade. And he's a great kid, man. He's a cool guy. And I'm, you know, again, like I said, I'm sure just the attention and what, you know, like, you know, he probably had DJs calling him. I'm sure he has some family members that was ready to train to go. You know what I'm saying? And he was dealing with his own personal stuff. So, you know, I felt for him, you know what I'm saying? So
he had an uncool moment, but we love Wiz. He's one of the coolest dudes in the game.
Where do you see DJing going in the next 10 years? Since we were talking about program directors and radio changing, I feel like with the festival space, the DJs that get booked kind of got their name from radio, and that's how they're continuing their career. But there's plenty of DJs that didn't get in the space you did with actually putting out projects, and you're attached to things outside of just DJing.
Right.
What does a new DJ do now?
It's a great question, because I literally had a DJ call me the other day. He was from Nashville. And he called me and he said, yo, I just need some advice. I got like 5 artists and we're about to do a show in Denver and I'm going out there and how much should I be charging or taking from these artists? And I said, wait, let's take this step by step.
Yeah.
I said, first of all, you're a DJ trying to make a name for yourself in Nashville.
Right.
You're going to Denver.
In Nashville.
With 5 artists. And respectfully, if you watch this is the same thing I told you, so I don't want you to take it any type of way.
He's a DJ, he will.
He had 5 artists that he was trying to break, and he had a show in Denver. And I was like, bro, you're trying to do so much at once. First of all, artists literally are like your children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Take your time with them.
Yeah, and they artists, need a lot of attention in a way. I mean, they, and rightfully so. Like if you're a DJ or an executive or an A&R, it's your job to help their career heighten. So I had to break it down to him. I was like, look, bro. First of all, when I was, I had to brand myself first. That was my first goal, branding DJ Drama and branding Gangsta Grills.
Right.
So people were familiar with that. When I first started working with Tip or Jeezy, they were local artists. T.I. was signed, but he wasn't the national guy. Jeezy, like Coach K lived around the corner from me. You know what I'm saying? I would make show CDs for Jeezy for $100. So, and I just tried to explain to him that he was trying to take on too much at once, and it's like, as much as like, it's like, yeah, I came from an era where I was able to make mixtapes and attach myself to projects and artists and brands that DJs can't necessarily do. Like the mixtape space is literally non-existent right now.
Yeah.
I mean, people are still coming to me to do tapes, but one, it's for the nostalgia of it, and it's two, because I'm already a brand.
Right.
But like a new DJ technically trying to make a mixtape is kind of difficult because mixtapes aren't what they used to be. But also, I had the advantage over the OGs in my time because they didn't have the internet or they didn't have mixtape websites. So what they had to do to go hand in hand to get their name out across the country, my class was able to do faster because we had the internet and the accessibility. And then, after that, the Dat Piffs and the live mixtapes came. So it's like at the same time, but I also didn't have social media. I didn't have Twitter and Instagram and TikTok to move, to move in that quick of a space. So I think everybody just has to take advantage of, the accessibility or where you are in that space. And I told him, like, the thing I told him was like, yo, look, what I did was I didn't, I took a formula that was hot up north on the East Coast and just applied it to Southern music. Like, I didn't invent the wheel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I utilized like the artists and the space where I was. Thankfully, I was in the South where, imagine if I would have moved to New York from Philly, I would have, been competing with fucking
everybody.
I was in an area where honestly, the guys before me, the big oomps, DJ Jelly and Oomp Camp and other DJs, they weren't like focusing on like dope covers and they weren't like talking on their tapes or, the one thing I do feel like I brought to the table was I like before me, people just would do like shout outs and shout to so-and-so, shout to Rory and Mal, like 125th Street or what have you. Like I turned my shit into speeches. And that was something new that I brought. But I didn't invent the wheel. Like I was fucking biting the fuck out of Who Kid and Green Lantern. Like me and Cannon just used to like, every time Who Kid or Green would drop, we would just go crazy. Like, oh my God, like look at the fucking fold outs Who Kid has with the MTV logos and the 8-page spreads and Green like with his drops. And there would be no Gangsta Grills drop, Little John's Voice or no Cannon drop if it wasn't for Green. So I say that to say that like, look, like I'm not telling you to go invent the wheel, but like, you have to find your lane. You have to.
But you guys were a bit more hands-on, I feel like. And that's where I think DJs need to go back to brand themselves. Because it isn't, hey, submit a mixtape to me and put your drops in the front and back. Like, you and Cannon were really putting those together with
100%.
the artists. And I think that's what DJs kind of need to do, even in the TikTok era. Like my man Austin Mills,
Dope.
DJs gigs and shit.
Congrats
but his
to him.
biggest thing now is doing these remixes on the MPC on TikTok, and that's
it's
what's
fire.
getting booked at Coachella.
And then he
not
just got a record deal, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So somebody like Austin Mills is great example. Like I love watching him on the ground. I'm not really heavy on TikTok, but you know,
he's doing the same thing
the
on TikTok.
remixes that he does, like them shits is fire. And you know, he brought something to the table, and he just wound up getting a record deal. Like perfect example of somebody who utilized his platforms and brought something to the table. He gets booked at festivals. His remixes are fucking fire. And it's like, okay, dope. Like here's somebody that gets it and figured it out. And you just gotta,
but that's the beauty of
figure it out.
Getting oversaturated to some degree, because now talent has to separate everybody.
And it's always
it's not just playing music anymore.
It's not. But it was oversaturated when I was there was 1,000 DJs out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Yeah, but now it's like, I think it's a different level of saturation now, though. Because everybody
you don't even need CDJs.
Yeah, like everybody can have a platform almost. If you have social media, you can push your shit to everybody. For sure. See it.
But it's oversaturated in general because now, like, every Friday or Thursday at midnight, 100,000 songs drop on DSP. So every generation has been like the OGs before us. Like if they looked at our generation, they would probably say, yo, it's a million fucking DJs and everybody's just putting exclusives on there, and you guys aren't making real mixtapes because we used to scratch and blend and you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can't be like, you guys aren't doing what I was doing because, you know, that's old guy talk. Like it's definitely, the world is oversaturated now more than it ever has. And, you know, because of like social media and outlets, like
we get information so fast now
with everything. Yeah. So, you know, you gotta, but you can figure it out. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do it. Like, and I look at it like, if you really love it and you love your craft, and bro, I was doing this shit when I could barely pay my water bill. Like,
I wanted to talk about that. So you literally, Drum, you've come up through, I think, almost every level of the music industry. A&R, DJ, executive now. Like, you obviously
arrested.
Right. You obviously are somebody that loves music and
100%,
loves the culture of hip hop.
100%.
To the guys that are starting out now, like we were just talking about, what's important for them to know going into it, and as far as their goals? Like, should it be money, or should it just be about changing something in the culture, leaving their imprint and helping other artists and because from a college student, DJ, A&R, to now an executive of, you know, an imprint and a label with some of the most influential and successful artists that we have in the culture.
And I have a Grammy.
And you have a Grammy winner. Like, that's you know what I mean? Like, that's almost like, yo, here, look at what this guy did.
Right.
And try to follow that.
Right. Mal, like, this is as true as I can tell it. Like, when I started DJing, my goal was to get my name on a flyer. Like, that was the top of the top for me. Like, when I went to see Juice and my mom bought me a turntable and a mixer, and then I convinced my grandparents to buy me. I had a belt drive for DJs watching, and then, you know, the Technique 1200s are direct drive, so the belt drive's like, you can't really, when you jigga, it like takes a while. So I got my Technique 1200s. You know, I bought my first mixtape on 125th Street, DJ SNS Old School Part 2.
Wow.
I was fascinated with mixtape culture. But like, yeah, like when I was in high school and I was DJing, like, yo, I was like, when I used to go up to Broad and Erie from Central High and people would pass out flyers, I was like, man, I gotta get my name on a flyer. Like, I gotta get my name on a flyer, you know? So everything that I've accomplished is like, it's been extra, you know? It's like, you know, and I've had so many moments, like when I made Trap or Die, I was like, how the fuck am I gonna, like, what am I gonna do next? Like, then Dedication happened, you know, or, you know, then I put my album out, or After the Raid, and, you know, like I became a fucking hip hop martyr, you know, and I put an actual album out, or, you know, then I was like, okay, like I'm putting albums out, but I'm not having records that really translate. And then I made Oh My, and it was like, I finally had a record that was heavy in the club. And then My Moment happened, and it was a top 20 record. And then, you know, we formed Generation Now, and we signed Uzi, and it was like, then it was like, okay, you guys did it, but, you know, can you do it again?
Right.
You know, so like a lot of my career, I've felt like somewhat of the underdog at times, and I like that space because I thrive off of it, you know. And even just recently, like, who would have thunk 22 years later I would win a fucking Grammy for a mixtape series that I started, you know, in the Fourth Ward, like in my humble abode where I could literally pay my water bill, and, you know, here comes Tyler, the Creator, with his genius idea, you know, and me being a part of that, you know. So what I would, my advice to those coming up, like, you know, unfortunately, when it comes, not unfortunately, but in hip hop, like, it's comparable to sports in a sense. Like, you know, you go from college, like an artist is like, when they're coming up, they're playing college ball,
right?
And then draft day is when you get your record deal. But then you still got to go to the league.
You got to do something,
and you got to really ball.
Yeah.
And you got to, you know, once you get your deal, just like you're in the league with LeBron and Steph and you know, Russell and you know, Giannis. Once you get your record deal, then you're in the game with Dirk and Baby and Hove and X, Y, and Z and Wayne and Drake and Cole. And so if you want to become a lawyer, you have to go to law school. You have to pass the bar. If you want to become a doctor, you have to literally, you can't just say, oh, I'm a doctor.
Right.
In hip hop, anybody can technically say, oh, I'm a DJ or oh, I'm a rapper. And they could be doing it for 6 months, and you could literally get a record deal or make a record that translates and becomes a hit record, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? But I'm somebody that I've always felt like one of the reasons why I'm here and one of the reasons why I've sustained a career and been through so many generations of hip hop and so many time and spaces is because I'm really a student of the game. Like, I'm really from the cloth. Like, I did this because I love it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it. You know, we all love to make money. You know what I mean? I love money. You know, it's great, but I didn't start doing it because I wanted to make money. I did it because I loved music. I loved hip hop. Like, I loved that feeling of hearing a new song on Clue's tape, or going to school, listening to Smith & Wesson, or fucking when Tribe would drop, or when Wu-Tang Forever came out, or when Outkast would come out, like, in so many places. So I just feel like, and specifically for DJs, like, you know your history, you know, at the minimal, like, you should be able to kind of know, because it's only going to help you. Like, one of the reasons why I knew, like, when me and Tip first, like, kind of came together was because I was like, oh, okay, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Eric B. and Rakim, like Jam Master Jay and Run DMC, Who Kid and 50, like Green and M. Okay, I found my guy. Like, this is my guy that if I attach my movement to his, we come up together. And, you know, now not only am I just Gangsta Grills and making my brand, people also associate me with this guy who's claim and showing that he's the king of the South. So, and that was because, you know, I was a student of the game, and I knew that as a DJ, like, a dope way to come up would be to, you know, connect with an artist. You know what I'm saying? So
first A&Rs with DJs.
100%.
And anyone could play the record that's already number one. Right. I can hit play too.
Exactly. And that's one thing about, like, when I get booked at gigs or doing shows, like, you know, I love to play the records that are hot, but you know, people also, I want to play something new, even if they looking at me like, I'm like, yo, remember where you heard it first, like, and you know, there's a way to break a record, and I think that that's been part of my success, and that's what I would tell a lot of, like, you know, up and coming DJs, that there's a lot of ways for you to get to the level. Like, if I can do it, so can you. Like, I was a fucking kid in Philly making little mixtapes, and now I'm a Grammy Award winner. Like, you just, at the end of the day though, but like, if you do it for the money, or if you do it for the women, or if you're doing it for the fame, all that shit is cool. And I'm not saying that you can't achieve that, and that's dope, but at the end of the day, I do it for the culture. Like, I love putting on for the culture. Like, I love the fact of, you know, when people look back, like when my story is told, when we talk about legacy, like, people gonna be like, yo, Drum really left a stamp on the culture, like, at this time, like, over and over again. And that's what I thrive off of. And that's why I'm so successful, because, you know, I'm really like that. Like, I'm really from the cloth. Like, and even with Gangsta Grills, like, I loved when I was able to, like, do a Little Brother tape, and do a Pharrell tape, and do a Dead Prez tape, do a Childish Gambino tape, and work with Tyler, because it's like, you know, here's this brand that started, you know, as like Southern trap music, but it's like, you know, my roots, I was a backpacker rat. Like, I used to DJ Lyricist Lounge, and, you know, Gangsta Grills is what took off. And, you know, it's almost like John, I rest in peace to John Singleton. I like to compare it to like a movie director. Like, John Singleton's first movie was Boys in the Hood, which was like, at the time, you know, those were the movies that were popular in the mid 90s. Then he went on to make Higher Learning and Poetic Justice and Baby Boy. So that's how I look at my career. Like, yeah, I got in the door with Gangsta Grills as like this fucking, you know, trap street platform, but now I can navigate as a director and take my brand in so many different lanes, and, you know, work with various artists from various backgrounds to show, like, you know, like, yo, I do this.
Obviously, iTunes and streaming put the nail in the coffin, but do you think your success killed the mixtape?
Say that again. Do I think my success killed the mixtape?
Did you fuck DJs up forever?
The attention that Gangsta Grills brought, and then obviously with the Fed case, do you think that killed the mixtape?
So when the raid happened,
like, you know, in American Gangster, when he wore the fur hat at the boxing match,
right?
Was Gangsta Grills that fur coat and hat at the front of the fucking boxing ring?
In a sense, I could say that it was. Like, I think that, you know, because of, like, I was top of the food chain. Like, I was the go-to guy, you know, and like, when that happened, like, the mixtape game was forever changed.
Yeah.
And I felt a lot of guilt for that, you know? Like, I did. Like, I always felt like, you know, I came up like studying doo-wop and Tony Touch and Ron G and SNS and Clue and all these guys. And it was like, damn, when I became that guy, the shit dies on my shoulders. Like, you know, I did. I felt guilt. Like, damn, I don't want to be the guy that killed the mixtape. You know what I mean? And, you know, so after that, like, I continued on going, and I kept putting out mixtapes, and there was a resurgence. And, you know, after the raid, Dream Chasers happened. There Is No Competition happened. Like,
but for the most part, those were
True
all
Religion happened.
Original music, right? Dream Chasers.
Yeah, for the most part, they were all, I mean, but, you know, Dedication 3, 4, 5, 6 happened. You know, Dedication 3 was probably one of the first tapes we did after. That was probably the biggest tape that came out after the raid during that time. But I also feel like, you know, the internet was becoming like during my generation, like, that Piff was like the enemy to us.
Yeah.
Because they were giving like free mixtapes. Like
we love them, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Great platform.
Yeah.
like y'all like
give me that shit for free.
Exactly. So like the consumer loved that piff. My DJ class, we were like, yo, what the fuck? Y'all fucking our shit up. Like, we want to go to fucking mix unit where we're selling them for, you know, where they're buying boxes off of us and we're selling them.
Do you think that's a little hypocritical though?
Well,
because if you look at, let's say Sky's the Limit. I don't know who produced that, but Mike Jones and that producer, I could say was looking at y'all like y'all were looking at Dat Piff.
100%.
Like that's my beat, and now you're making money off something without any publishing, any contract, anything.
100%. And then
get your pH balance.
Thank you. You know, then I started getting calls. Damn, I dropped the cap.
That's right.
Then I started getting calls. You know, my man Tech, who manages 2 Chainz, called me and was like, yo,
shout out to Tech.
Live Mixtapes wants to reach out to you. They want to have a convo. They want to talk. So then I went into a deal with Live Mixtapes where I was like exclusively dropping tapes on their platform. Then Dat Piff reached out to me and said, hey, listen, come on over here. We'll offer you X, Y, and Z. I probably made more money during the Dat Piff era than I made during my early mixtape eras, because Dat Piff was literally paying me monthly a salary. Yeah. So if anyone did a Gangsta Grills, it had to drop exclusively on Dat Piff. Then they started cutting real checks. So first they were cutting checks to DJs, and then they started cutting checks to artists.
Yep.
All that. And so let me just back up a little bit. So then around the time that the raid happened, you know, the blogosphere were becoming the new mixtapes.
Yep.
Like Two Dope Boys,
sure,
Nah Right, Rap Radar. That's where people started to get their new music from instead of mixtapes. Yeah. So it went into that space. They became the new mixtapes. And then this whole crop of new artists came out where they were putting out mixtapes without DJs.
Yeah.
Cole, Kendrick,
Wale.
Drake, Wale, Wiz, and sometimes a few of them at some point used DJs, but then they were also, you know, Kush and OJ, So Far Gone, like we you know, Section 80, like those were all mixtapes in a sense that were mixtapes, but they didn't have DJs. So I feel like a phoenix arose from the raid, and you know, literally the mixtape business became even bigger than ever. Like the money that Dat Piff was and Live Mixtape started throwing around to artists and the rappers was insane. Like I was making crazy money during that time. And then Drake went and did If You're Reading This, what's it called?
If you're reading this, it's too late.
If you're reading this, it's too late. And he put it on the DSPs.
Yep.
That's where everything
Which was originally
changed.
supposed to be a DJ Drama Gangsta Grills tape.
There were talks.
Yep.
We did have talks about it being a Gangsta Grills tape. And even before all that, Future the Prince reached out to me. And because of Drake, the brand and the business, he was just like, look, we wanted it to be a Gangsta Grills, but when it comes to Drake, there's so much money involved, whether it's with the producers or writers or label, that they weren't able, like the way that tapes were dropping before that. Yeah. You know, if it's crazy because if the times were now, it would have made sense, like what I did with Tyler.
Exactly.
But because it was new at the time, they were like, we can't, it's just too much business involved in it where we have to do it this way.
And it feels
you know what
like
I'm saying?
It would almost kill it because it would be sold, and it's like Gangsta Grills is supposed to be free. At that time,
exactly.
It would have felt that way. And it's like, hey, we're going against what the whole shit was.
Yeah, and like you said, hypocritical, like, yo, after the raid, I started giving away free mixtapes. I didn't sell them. Like, here, I'm not doing this for the money. Like, I was loving making the money, but I'm going back to, for promotional use only, let's put them out however we put them out. So once Drake went to the DSPs with a quote unquote mixtape project, then everyone followed suit. And that was when the streaming era came, and then the lines got crossed.
That also killed the first album. Because you have artists that put out 3 projects on DSPs, and then it's like, here's my debut.
Right. And
It's
then,
like, what?
and then
You
it
sold the first 3. It's not a mixtape.
Exactly. So then the lines got crossed where the word mixtape just became a word used. So the pressure of the album didn't come.
Yeah.
So you
it
could
was
say
a street record.
Exactly. So you could put a mixtape, but the shit during my era, like the fascination of it is we didn't have to cross our T's and dot our I's and do all the paperwork.
Yep.
Right.
And Wayne could just rap on any fucking beat.
No structure.
And we put it
Just,
out.
yeah.
Like it was the Wild Wild West. You know, once the DSPs came along, then even if it was a mixtape, you still had to do the same paperwork as you would for an album.
Right.
You know, so people were literally just throwing the word around, just, you know, hey, this is my mixtape, so don't feel like this is my album and hold me to the numbers or what have you.
Side note, because I do want to get back to the Drake thing in a second. When we were talking about like the DJ union coalition all coming together for Wiz and all that, of course, hindsight's 2020. Was there any talks of DJs coming together to start what is now Dat Piff? Like you guys did have the control over that, whereas Dat Piff shouldn't be paying y'all. That could have been y'all shit.
I always felt like, damn, like I could have did this. Like,
you also were doing a lot.
And shout to my man KP, great guy. You know, Dat Piff. I made a lot of money with Dat Piff, and I do appreciate them. But yeah, I thought about it like, damn, imagine if I would have created Drama Like the DJ.com and had that space where, you know, instead of Dat Piff paying me to drop the tapes on their site, I took all the traction,
all ad revenue,
all the ad revenue, and had my site where it was like, or gangstagrills.com, where it was like, you want a Gangsta Grills? Okay, we got to put it out this way. And who knows, you know, if Dat Piff was literally paying me 30 grand a month, like imagine what they were making, where I'm thinking about, damn, imagine if I had my own platform where it was mine. And you know, Flex did it to an extent.
Remember he did the app? I thought that was kind of innovative.
Flex did the app, you know,
mixtape out with it, which was a good mixtape.
Like, and shout to Karen Civil too, with her assistance with how she did in flexwetrust.com. Like, I felt like he got the closest to doing it. But absolutely, like, I thought about that all the time during that era. Like, damn, imagine if I would have really created my platform where I was the one where you would drop a Gangsta Grills and I was getting the ad revenues and the type of money that I would have seen.
Aside from, if you're reading this, it's too late, obviously being Drake, what's one artist that you really, because I feel like the Tyler album now, I feel like now you can do that. It's not just rap. I feel like you can do a Jasmine Sullivan Gangsta Grills. I feel like you can do her Gangsta Grills.
I would love to hear his drops on hotels.
And I've done stuff like that. Like Verde
She a hoe.
Like Verde Terrace. Like if you hear me on Verde Terrace, it's like I used a very calm voice on there. Or Chris Brown in my zone, or Jeremiah Late Nights.
Right.
So I've done them in that lane. So yeah, like there's no artist that I personally that I can't, you know, put my bells and whistles on.
Have you had to say no to somebody though? And you're a really nice person. Your name shouldn't be DJ Drama. You're actually a great guy.
I appreciate this. It's really been.
When I met you for the first time, I was like, "There's nothing drama about this. He's like such a good person."
It's been the gift. It's so crazy. I really feel like when I chose that name, God like winked at me like, "Oh, I got you."
Yeah.
Like it's been the gift and the curse of my name because I've had my share of drama in my career.
You have,
you know, like I definitely feel like I'm a kind-hearted, very humble person, especially of a man of my stature in the business.
For sure.
Almost too humble. Let me just put that out there for you.
And almost,
you can really
almost
talk
too nice.
your shit.
No, you're right.
You have a roster and you have the stats and the numbers to really be out here talking crazy.
I can talk crazy. And I do at times, but you know, even my team has to be like, bro, you're DJ Drama. Like, like get on your shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I might be too humble at times. Like, I'm really that guy. Like, you know, and
there you go. Let me smoke to that.
Like, please do. Like I'm really like that. Like, there's like, okay, like let's talk verses. Like, bring it on. I don't give a fuck who you want. Like, I'm with all the smoke. So have I ever said no?
And how did you say it?
I've said no. Bow Wow came to me at a time.
Friend of the show.
What's crazy?
And I would like a Bow Wow Gangsta Girls.
What's crazy is I remember his DJ was Shakim early on, who now DJs for New Edition.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when Gangsta Girls first was coming up, I went to Shakim like, yo, I want to do a Bow Wow Gangsta Girls.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And then Bow Wow came to me.
What year are we talking? What is this? Lil Bow Wow,
No,
Chad,
this is Bow Wow.
Mr. 106.
This is
Okay.
This was it was in a time where I felt like I wasn't able to give Bow the tape because I felt like the brand, because of where the brand was, I was a little nervous on how it would be taken in a sense. So this was it was in between 2010 and 2015 around that time.
Okay.
So, and I didn't necessarily tell him no. And that's my guy. Like, Bow's my guy.
Bow's
like,
legend.
Yeah, he's a fucking legend in so many ways.
Hip hop's Forrest Gump is what I call him. He's seen everything.
And touched a lot.
Yeah.
So salute the Bow.
Yeah.
Now there are projects that I was supposed to be a part of that I wasn't, that, I don't want to say regret, but yeah, like, damn, I missed out on that.
Which
one? Drake definitely one of the Gangsta Girls early on. I think he still kind of might feel a way about that. And
about not getting one?
I mean,
I did want to get into that whole thing. We can get into it now after you answer the no question.
Listen, he's had an illustrious career. I'm
He's
sure
doing okay.
Not too shabby, not too bad.
He hasn't done too bad for himself, so
not too bad.
I'm sure
he's making ends meet.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's cool without having the Gangsta Grills, but
Drake is a hip hop head first,
100%.
and I feel like he did Gangsta Grill.
He did a DJ Small Southern Smoke tape,
right?
So
all the comeback season is Dilla beats. Like he's one of those.
Like, yeah, there was a time and a space where he did, and I can admit it. I kind of fronted, so like, as did a lot of people when
you
it came
fronted
to Drake.
on him when it came to doing it.
We didn't do a tape,
right?
So this, I'm talking about like 07, 08-ish.
Early.
Yeah.
Early.
Nicki Beat Me Up Scotty was supposed to be a Gangsta Grills.
Oh wow.
Travis, what is it, before Days Before Rodeo.
Beat Me Up Scotty would make a lot of sense for a
that was supposed to be a Gangsta Grills, and then I was with it. Her manager, Miss Deb, at the time, basically felt like I was more Team Jeezy. So, and at the time, Holiday was, kind of part of their camp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Deb convinced Nicki to do the tape with Holiday. And, I kind of, to be honest, I didn't fight for it. So, I'm sure if I would have been like, yo, no, fuck that. Like, I'm doing it. But so I kind of let that one go.
Humble.
So
but I think
I regret that.
Of course it worked for Nicki and Drake. I don't mean it in that way, but
imagine if that was part of the Gangsta Grills.
That's crazy.
It would have been crazy, but I don't know.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been that's definitely one.
Who knows if we get so far gone the same way? Let's say the Gangsta Grills Drake mixtape goes crazy. Now Drake is pigeonholed into whatever sound y'all did for that. That's happened before.
I think he would have been all right regardless.
I do too, but I'm saying I don't know if we get so far going the same way.
Yeah.
Because if you see some success in a certain area and a fan base, sometimes you have to lean into it.
You go back to it.
So who knows if Drake would have had to do that rather than like, yo, I'm going to sing a lot. So far going is going to be the better 808s. I don't know if that happens.
So you're saying I did him a favor?
Yes.
You did the culture a favor, drama is what we're saying.
I think the higher power let
Days
things go
Before
the way
Rodeo.
they should
Oh,
go.
then there was supposed to be a Drake and Gucci tape.
That would have been crazy. Oh, when he had first came home?
Gucci was Gucci home yet?
Because they did that record right when he came home.
Well, remember there was like 3 records they did because they wound up on our tape. They wound up on remember he did the 3 Cold War series. It was one with me, one with Scream, and one with another DJ.
Love Screen.
And then the 3 Drake records were on my tape because, the first time Drake and Gucci had ever spoken, I put them on the phone together.
Mm-hmm.
We were on a 3-way call. I never forget. I think I was in Pittsburgh at the time. And I got Drake and Gucci on the phone. They talked. Drake told Guap how much, he was a fan of his. And they talked about doing it. We were going to do a Gangsta Grills together. And it didn't come out for some other reasons that I won't dive into on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking there's another one I'm missing. Love is Rage was supposed to be Gangsta Grills.
Okay.
But we chose as a team, as Generation Now, to not do that without me, because honestly, when that project came out was right in the midst of the Drake and Meek situation.
Yeah.
So we're like, listen, we don't want to even let Vert. And I think it worked out for
I was about
Vert,
to say
too.
that lended itself just to be a project itself.
Yeah.
That's a good executive call rather than a DJ
And
call for sure.
Jack Harlow has definitely taken me off. I've done a lot of talking and drops for a Harlow project and have gotten removed. But hey, it worked out. So
Well, the whole Drake and Meek thing.
yeah,
I know you have relationships with both of them, obviously,
I do.
and you've probably talked about this 1,000 times. But
1001.
the whole Drake Meek situation. You know that you
What's
have
that?
There's a little situation that happened a few years ago that may have
Not familiar.
changed the entire trajectory of a lot of situations in our culture.
I've heard about that.
Your position in that whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever really talked in depth about it,
I have.
but looking at things now, do you feel like your role was as big as it seemed at first in that situation?
I had a role. What can I say that hasn't been said?
Yes.
Has accountability been said?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've taken accountability for my role in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you called both of them sensitive on camera as well?
Say that again?
Have you called both of them sensitive on camera as well?
No.
Okay.
I've never called both of them sensitive.
I'm sensitive. I'm just saying. It's not an insult.
Me and Drake have definitely had direct conversations about it, offline,
Mhm.
and I've taken accountability.
What was the first Drake conversation like?
The first Drake conversation,
And how did it happen?
the first, actually, it was 2018, and it was after Meek and Drake came out together.
Okay.
And I wound up at 4040 Club with Meek, and I said, yo, call that nigga right now. Put me on the phone with him. Like, y'all not gonna because I watched it all happen, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
so Meek called Drake, and and
Don't you hate when friends that were beefing become friends again?
You feel what I'm saying?
And now they're
Like,
beefing with you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like, wait, y'all friends again?
Yeah.
yo, Drake was my guy. Like,
Right,
we was good. Like,
Yeah.
anytime I would go to Toronto, like, he would come to the club, or we'd go out to eat, or
Mhm.
I went to multiple OVO fests, and like,
Mhm.
that was really my guy. So,
Right.
Meek put me in the line of fire. You know what I'm saying? And again, I've taken accountability for it. But yeah, the first convo was, Meek FaceTiming Drake, and me getting on the phone. And I think it was around Drake's birthday. And, like, we spoke, we chopped it up, and, said, what's up? And then later on, through DMs, we had some small talk just about, me owning up to, my part in how everything, transpired. And you know, a lot of it honestly too is, I mean, like, unfortunately, you know, the person that like suffered the most was Quentin, you know,
like,
and like
my next question,
my
if
guy
you've
right
spoken to him before.
you know, yeah, I've spoken to Quentin on numerous occasions. And, you know, I mean, I definitely like, and even my quarrel with Meek at the time, like, was like, yo, bro, like, you're not, only thing you're thinking about is yourself. Like, you're messing with this man's livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not thinking about like how that's gonna affect like his life, you know what I'm saying? And like his trajectory within what he's trying to accomplish, you know, all for your own personal gain, you know? And again, it's touchy for me to talk about it because it's water under the bridge and everybody has made amends. But also, you know, my career thrived, Drake's career thrived, Meek went on to, you know, do his thing. And it's like, you know, Quentin was put in a situation where, you know, he, out of everybody, he lost the most. And
I think handled it the best. As far as public
let me put it like
view.
this.
I don't know behind the scenes.
And Quentin Miller,
publicly, I felt like Quentin minded his fucking business.
And not only that, Quentin Miller didn't do anything wrong, and he's a talented artist.
Very talented.
Listen, everybody did something wrong.
Okay.
Everybody. Quentin did something wrong. DJ Drama did something wrong. Drake did something wrong. Meek Mill did something wrong. Nicki Minaj did something wrong. Like, everybody played a role. And we could sit here today and talk about it. And listen, everyone I named, I love y'all to death. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I hope no one takes this the wrong way. And again, it's water under the bridge. It went down, you know, it was a hip hop moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hip hop history. And, you know, like, there's a lot that I've, you know, those guys have gotten to tell their true side of their stories. Like, you know, I've gone on Drink Champs, I've discussed it. Yeah. I've gone on Ebro, I've discussed it. Talked about it with Angie. I talked about it on Rap Radar. So, you know, you can go through since 2015 and hear sound bites at various times of, you know, how I felt or what I've said. But there's also a lot that I've held back on.
For sure.
And haven't put out there. One day, will it all make sense? Maybe. But, you know, maybe some things are just left to be untold. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, everybody played a role in how it went down. You know what I mean? And nobody is like, was all the way like just innocent in a sense.
Do you still have a relationship with Quentin though?
I do. I mean, Quentin, when me, Drake, and Jack took the picture at Kentucky Derby.
Quentin took it? I was about to say, Drum, you a sick nigga.
Quentin in Kentucky. Sounds like a reality show.
I don't know if it was on my page or if it was on one of the socials that reposted it, but he did make a comment. So I think, you know, he may have felt the way, but I've also
what was the comment?
Like, I've had many conversations with Quentin over the years where, you know, Quentin himself has told me like, yo, Drum, like, through it all, like, I respect you and I appreciate you, and, you know, that he doesn't hold me responsible for how things transpired. So, you know, I'm sure when he saw Drake and Meek make up, you know, it was like, damn, like, when they went through all this, and again, like, he was the one like kind of left out in the cold, respectfully, you know. And yeah, when he saw me and Drake and Jack take the picture, like, you know, he might have felt the type of way, and I get it, you know, from his standpoint. Like, again, like, if we talk about me, Drake, Meek, and Quentin, like, there's three people that's career since then have has gone on and just elevated. And then, Quentin was put in a tough spot. So,
well, do you feel he was blackballed or maybe just didn't capitalize on the opportunity as far as eyes being on him? Of course, put in a weird situation to begin with. So I'm not even going to begin to play Monday morning quarterback on how he should have handled that. But to some degree, not even some degree, the three of y'all were already established crazy.
Right.
Quentin was an up-and-coming artist and writer.
Right.
So, of course, that helped and didn't help, but
yeah,
we get our opportunities
and that's how
our
I met
L's,
Quentin.
and
that's how I met Quentin, because we were we were interested in signing his group, the Wedding Crashers. Like, so it wasn't, my relationship with him wasn't malicious by any means.
Yeah.
And it got painted that way, and like, I got a lot of fingers pointed at me like I was the bad guy. And it was like, I made a mistake by telling my homeboy something that I shouldn't have, and he handled it the way he handled it, you know what I'm saying? But like, I felt like I got a lot of the butt of the situation. And it was like, and again, like I said, I've taken accountability in, my role, and, we've all moved on since then. But yeah, like, if the story was ever really told, it's a hell of a hip hop story.
Well, eventually in 30 years it's going to. Because we learned everything about the Big and Pac shit if you just go on YouTube right now.
Right.
Every last person that just happened to be around will tell you everything.
You still don't know about the Big and Pac shit.
the people.
And yeah, you still don't really
the names that I'm not saying.
Yeah.
That.
Well, John,
it's
this is a safe space.
Eventually.
If you just want to kick it with me, like, we can just talk right here, right now. It's just us, man. You know what I mean? Like,
and cameras and a microphone.
Yeah.
It's a lot deeper than those four names. Let's just put it like that. Like,
I believe it. I've heard rumblings about what really, and it's unfortunate, and I understand it shouldn't have happened, but it happened.
Lot of hip hop's finest had their ears and eyes and phones.
Okay, since y'all are playing Double Dutch, 30 for 30 freestyle.
Yeah.
When everyone thought he was talking about Meek, he was clearly talking about Hove. So stop double dutching.
Talking about what?
Hove. He's talking about Jay-Z on that.
What?
And that's not insider information. I'm just not stupid. I can go to Rap Genius and read what he wrote.
Yeah. I mean,
so what are you getting at?
I think the powers that be that were not added into this go as high as Hove, and what the strategy was with this entity that Drake was that took over the music industry. I think they saw this as an opportunity to try to lower the light of somebody that had completely taken over. I don't think it was like some coordinated shit. I really do think Meek probably just tweeted that shit in his crib, like, yo, what the fuck? They saw that, and it was time. It's just I have no insider information. It's just my theory.
Sounds like insider information.
How? What?
Just sounds like you was on the inside.
Hove and I are not that cool where he'd be like, yo, I was behind it.
By the way, what people...
He would never do that.
What never gets discussed is that before the tweets came out, Meek tweeted a month or 6 weeks earlier than that, these niggas don't write their raps. Okay. Something.
Pusha had made note. So Kendrick had made note. There was rumblings.
So like, and Drake is another student of the game. Mm-hmm. He knows and sees and watches everything. So
one of the more calculated people on planet Earth.
He plays chess, not checkers, at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if not the best,
when
one of the best.
Meek first tweeted it before he name dropped, you don't think Drake saw that and was like, "Oh, okay, I know what's going on."
Yeah.
So back to the powers that be. I mean, like I said, man,
it's a lot to it.
We could be here for a while.
Do we think hip hop was better off for it though? Because I think it was as messy as a moment as it was for everyone else, moment. As just a fan.
As a fan of the culture, like
we needed that. I hate that it happened because it was a lot of personal shit, but
it was
part of it.
It was
I
the
love
closest,
that it happened.
It was the closest we had to Nas and Hove since, like, when
I would say
happened,
so, yeah.
You know, and like Back to Back was a fucking smash record that played in the club. Like, you know, you had two like power, you know, humongous figures within the culture. Meek, who was a representation of the streets, and Drake, who was like, you know, who, what did he say? You getting body by a singing nigga, like, who also was a fucking, you know, this amazing spitter, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, I always told people like, yo, like, first of all, like, give that man credit for even being able to hear bars from Quentin Miller and to see how dope they are.
Right.
Like, and like, a lot of people wouldn't even be able to do that.
Right.
They would have seen this nerdy kid that, you know, however, whatever, and they wouldn't have even recognized his dopeness.
Yeah.
So give Drake the credit for that. And on top of that, like, let's not act like Drake's pen isn't fucking one of the best that we've ever seen in the game.
Right.
By far.
He's a busy man.
Yo, I listened to that Energy leak, and I like Quentin's, like, his own music. I heard that reference, and I'm like, how the fuck did Drake hear that this would be dope?
You feel what I'm saying? Like, give that man the credit for even being able to, like, know, like, to even hear the dopeness in Quentin Miller. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right.
They would have looked right past it. You feel what I'm saying? And like again, like, let's not question Drake's pen. Like, Drake's pen is like, it's one of the greatest. And
in the midst of all of that, I always remind people, he gave us Hotline Bling. In the midst of all of that shit. In the midst of
all that, he put
By
a
accident.
fucking smash record out.
Bling,
like,
wasn't that in the 3-pack with Charged Up?
It was Charged Up and it was Hotline Bling. That was the other
That's
record.
hilarious.
Like, shit's crazy, you know. So,
God's Plan was similar too with a Diplomatic Immunity. Like, just some,
like, you know, when we look back on it, it was a hell of a hip hop moment, you know. And
it was,
you know, I took a lot of heat, like, for years. My social media, I would have to listen to the comments, or, you know, or however, whatever. But my skin is so thick, like, none of that shit gets to me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, after it happened, like, Generation Now, we had amazing success with Lil Uzi Vert, and, you know, I was on to, you know, I'm gonna be here. Like, I've been here, I'm here, and I'm gonna be here. Like, it's the one thing about it. Like, through all of it, through Drake and Meek, through Jeezy and Gucci, through me getting the fucking,
that was a little different than Drake
getting
and
a
Meek.
Rico charge. Like,
yeah,
I've been through Vert trying to, you know, throw dirt on Generation Now's name. Like, listen, man, like, it's cool. I'm from the cloth. Like, I've been doing this shit since I was fucking 13.
Where's that relationship at now? Were you in Vert?
In Vert?
Yeah.
Oh, we in a great space, man.
Good.
I don't know if you saw, but we all, you know, we all took a picture together at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
Myself, Lake, Cannon is like Rick Rubin, so he doesn't leave his house. He's like a gardener, so he wasn't there. But Seti, Vert, Sonny, Jack, we all took a pic together. Yeah, you know, so, you know, we've you know, Cannon's been back in the studio with Vert. They worked on the most recent project together. You know, we've been talking to Vert, you know, consistently for the last like 6, 7, 8 months per se. So, and it's dope. It's a good feeling. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what we went through, you know, it became public, but you know, that happens between family. Like, and one of the reasons why it was a tough spot for us is because, you know, Vert's success was our success. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I instead of like necessarily coming out and feeling like we wanted to defend ourselves, because we took a lot of heat. Yeah. Like, you know, it was like Generation Now, you know, and even with the Rock Nation situation, like, Rock Nation was put in the media as if they saved Lil Uzi Vert's career, and, you know, from...
I didn't gather that.
What?
So? Okay. I don't look at press releases. I'm sorry.
It was a free Uzi campaign. And then,
I remember that shit.
Yeah, and then it came...
I remember that.
Rock Nation saves Lil Uzi. Saves him from who? From 3 young black men that met in college at Clark Atlanta and Morehouse, who grew up on hip hop, who were best friends, who then came into the game, changed the game, and then created a label. Like, we're not culture vultures. Like, we are the epitome of the dream. Like, what did y'all save him from?
Yeah.
We didn't do nothing wrong by that kid. All we did was help make him a fucking superstar. Lake
never getting a Jay-Z.
Lake was an amazing manager. Cannon was right there, you know, with his sound. You know, I was DJ Drama waving the Uzi flag. What did y'all save him from? Like,
it's all politics.
It didn't have to go down like that. And, you know, I love Jay-Z. He's in my top whatever rappers of all time. And this is not necessarily a criticism of him per se, but yeah, like, come on now. Like, like why was the spin Rock Nation saves Lil Uzi Vert's career? Like, yo, like we're three young black men that like made it from DJing parties for $150 to going on to having an illustrious label after Cannon makes some of the biggest records in hip hop and after DJ Drama creates Gangsta Grills. Like, don't paint us out to be the bad guys. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Well, I mean, do you feel they did that? Sometimes the artist can create that, because I think with Meg, that's kind of been the PR stint as well with her prior production deal and then with the Rock Nation thing. And I don't know who's behind all of this, but that's just been the narrative with a lot of artists, not just Rock Nation per se.
Right.
But anytime someone signs somewhere else.
All I'm gonna say is that Lil Uzi Vert's contract was it's a fair and there's nothing that we did on our side that was like taking advantage of an artist or a young kid trying to make it in the business. We were me, myself, Cannon, and Lake are three individuals that split our percentage 3 ways. Our percentage has always been less than Lil Uzi Vert's percentage. So
it's amazing.
I don't want to speak on anybody else's contracts or whatever, because that's not my business.
Sure. Yeah.
But I know when it comes to our business, we do very good business and we do good by people. Hence why even throughout my dramas, no pun intended, I've been able to get back up and move on, because at the end of the day, I'm a good guy. Like, I don't, again, like, yeah, the name has been the gift and the curse, but like, I'm not out here fucking people over.
Did you reach out to Hov to talk about that whole Uzi Vert situation?
Nah, I've never talked to Hov. I haven't. I never. And Hov didn't reach out to me.
Okay. I think y'all should have a conversation.
I love Hov, bro. I love Hov. Like,
I think there needs to be a conversation.
He's one of the most
and I'm
inspiring.
Sure that, obviously that didn't come from Hov.
He's one of the most inspiring people.
But it's funny what
in the genre,
5-minute conversation can clear up.
Yeah.
I love what he's, how he's elevated the game. Like, who doesn't Hov inspire when it comes
right?
Well, did you have a conversation with Uzi before he signed with Rock, management wise?
No.
Okay. So he just went ahead and did that. Y'all had no idea he was gonna go with them.
We weren't really speaking at the time.
Prior to the free Uzi campaign shit, did you feel any type of way of him going to Rock?
No, I didn't. Again, it's not that I felt any type of way. I just the feelings that I felt was myself, Cannon, and Lake being painted as the bad guys.
Right. Yeah. Right. I feel you.
And again, like, listen, when an artist of his caliber is out there tweeting or saying X, Y, and Z, I can't go against his fan base. Like, whatever I say, like, they're gonna, that man's a fucking rock star. Like, he's one of the biggest artists in hip hop. Like, they're gonna, and with any artist, like, when artists say what they have to say, like, that's where the people go. You know what I'm saying? So, we just we sat back and played our position, and what I will say is that like when it was going down, like I definitely have to salute and appreciate Jack for, standing by my side and waving the flag when he necessarily didn't have to. He could have stayed out of the way, and when it was really thick and in a line of fire, Jack posted a picture with me and him and said his piece, and then, said it eternal take on the way.
Did him and Uzi have a relationship?
They didn't. They had never even met. And Jack was a fan of Uzi.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Jack, one of the reasons why, beyond the legacy that we brought to the table, like Generation Now being the label that Lil Uzi Vert was on, I'm sure, had a part in Jack wanting to sign to us. So no, they hadn't had a relationship or had even met. And then, Vert went on to he put like a clown face on Jack, and they've since moved on to like last BET Awards was the first time they actually met, and we all hugged it out, and we took a picture then, and that kind of put a stamp where it was like, okay,
it was good to see that
we're all moving forward. It was good to see, and it felt great to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I love Vert, like even when he had his thing to say, like I watched this kid go from this kid from Philly, like wide-eyed, coming to mean streets, meeting Thug and being on tour with Wiz Khalifa, to being a fucking rock star. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
these kids.
Yeah. So to take a picture with Jack and Vert originally in 21, like it felt great, and then to take a picture this year with, all of us, minus Cannon. I wish we could have cropped Cannon into the picture. Like, it was a full circle moment,
Creatively, outside of like the messy shit, how did you, Lake and Cannon, strategize Uzi? Because that was definitely out of the wheelhouse that was the Gangsta Grillz brand. Because even Jack is a rapper.
Facts.
Of course, he's a current rapper, but it's still in the wheelhouse of what Gangsta Grillz started as. How did you guys, outside of just seeing Uzi's talent, what was the strategy on that? Because you guys don't come from that specific type of hip hop.
I would disagree because, I feel like we do. I mean, like we come from all of it. Like Lake can tell you from west to south to east, like you can't play a record that Lake's not familiar with. Like Cannon the same thing, me the same thing. So, our strategy was, we realized that we had a dope artist that was definitely something fresh and new that came from Philly.
Yeah.
An argument I had with the label at the time was they were telling me, yo, you got to get this kid hot in his backyard. And I was like, I disagree. Like,
especially what Philly was on at that time.
The way when we first signed Uzi, when people were like, oh, like tell me about him, the only thing I had to kind of define it was like, Uzi is to Philly what A$AP Rocky was to New York. That's how I originally.
It's actually a really, really, really good comparison.
That's how I originally used to put it in perspective. And, at the time, I had more LA gigs than I had anywhere. So we had Vert out in LA, like, What Do You Want was the hottest record in the club out there. And then we took him on tour with us, the Fall Out Boy and Wiz Khalifa tour, and literally put him in front of 20,000 off top.
Yeah.
Where he got his chop, he was able to really like get his chops just, it's like going from high school straight to the league.
Yeah.
And then Cannon was, the sound, like, Cannon and, Molly Raw, like, and Vert, like they literally created that sound at Mean Street Studios.
Yeah.
And like Cannon was the wizard behind, how Vert's sound was, you know what I'm saying? So they were a dynamic duo. When it came to the music, me and Lake stayed out of the way. Like Cannon and Vert, they had that. Like
we say you're too humble. Cannon is too fucking humble, bro.
Yeah.
Cannon as a producer doesn't get talked about the way he should.
Yeah, I agree.
For the longevity, the eras he went through, the beats that are so iconic.
When I be seeing them producer lists and they be leaving my man out, like, yo,
it's crazy.
I be wanting to custom niggas the fuck out. Like, yo, how y'all be making these fucking lists and not putting my man Don Cannon on there? Like,
what producer has been in every single era that's
like,
current,
bro?
right now?
Like, yo, like this man made Go Crazy. Like his first placement
crazy.
had Jay-Z on it. This nigga made the fucking Art of Storytelling with Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Like, what are we talking about? Nigga made Cannon like one of Lil Wayne's most talked about verses. Like and one of the records that everybody wants to spit on. Like,
and what I think is Achilles' heel, which is kind of a gift and a curse, you can't tell when it's a Cannon beat. He's so versatile. There's so many of like the super producers.
Right.
I know right away who made that. And he doesn't have his Pharrell 4 count. He only has the Cannon drop, and he doesn't throw it on shit like that anymore. So you don't know if it's Cannon.
Like Cannon, like Cannon's work with SETI, like it's been so dope. Like hands down, one of my favorite SETI records is Cannon beat. Like, or even I think last year, like Cannon had like 21 placements. Like
it's crazy.
That doesn't get talked about. Like, you know, he's still one of the dopest in the game. He, like you said, he's been through so many eras, you know what I mean? So, and that's what's so dope about us as generation now when we sign artists, because we're literally giving them our shoulders to stand on. You know, like Uzi and Jack, I think that their drive and their passion, like they were gonna be here regardless.
Sure.
But coming to generation now and us being able to lend those shoulders, me being able to walk Jack into Sway in the Morning at that point in his career, or him being associated with the niggas that made Gangsta Grills as being a white rapper. Like, we can't act like that didn't help. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Who are some of the artists, and getting back to the whole Gangsta Grills thing, that you want to work with moving forward? Like one of my, I would, just me being a music guy, I would love to see a Kodak Black.
Fire.
Gangsta Grills.
Fire. At this point, I'm with it all. I just tweeted out the other day, like, yo, niggas is hitting me for Gangsta Grills like it's 06 again. Like,
who texted you? It's okay, you don't have to say. But you can say if you want.
I mean, listen, a lot of people, when I put that out there,
Ross,
a lot of people said they would love to see an ESTG tape.
That would be great.
I like that.
Me and Icewear Vezo, we working. I just did SETI's Well Said Gangsta Grills. You know, I got some ones coming, you know.
How does that look though? Is it similar to the Tyler? It has to be a cleared album on DSPs? Like, what's the strategy
I've changed
the brand continues in the mixtape form?
Yeah, I mean,
you've changed the infrastructure of the Gangsta Grill.
We've had to. Yeah, we've had to, because, you know, it has to. It's on DSPs now. So, but what's dope is that, like, again, like now it's back. The nostalgia of it is back around. That, like, what once when Drake put out, If You're Reading This Is Too Late, like, could have been now. Because now, like, I'm going back to my shit talking, and you know, me and Simba just did. We have a project coming out.
Oh, okay.
Simba, love Simba.
It's fire, you know. And like when I go to the artist, I'm like, "Yo, how crazy you want me to go?" And they like, "Man, go crazy."
Yeah.
So it's like it's back to that where, you know, what once was like, okay, we have the drum version and then we have a no DJ version. Now it's back to like the Gangsta Grills, where it's me doing my 1-2 and the bells and the whistles, and, you know, like, and yeah, like, you know, the Dreamville project just happened, and, you know, now after going through the process with Tyler, like, and seeing that these projects are literally albums, and, you know, who knows, I could be Grammy nominated again next year for one that comes out. So we've treated it a little differently, and the bag is definitely different now. Yeah.
What's the process? The process different from making the Gangsta Grills mixtape to doing the Tyler album? How does it differ?
Well, with Tyler, you know, there's only been a very few artists that I do my part in front of. With Tyler, we had three sessions over maybe a 4 to 6 month period.
Okay.
And again, like when Tyler first called me, he was like, yo, I got this crazy idea, and we talked, and he was gonna send me the music. This was during COVID. And I got a call from Christian Clancy, his manager. He was like, yo, T wants to know if, again, this is still during COVID when people weren't like moving around. So he was like, yo, he wants to know if you feel comfortable just coming out here instead of him sending it to you. I was like, hell yeah, I'll come out. So I went out. When I got there, Tyler had found a random Gangsta Grills and had placed my drops, like my voice on the tape of where he thought it would be dope to hear something. I was like, yo, this guy's
he's a producer.
He's insane.
He's an actual
like,
producer.
He does it all. Like he literally does it all. And he had just won the Grammy for Best Rap Album for an album that he didn't feel was a rap album.
Igor was my favorite album of that year.
I love Igor.
I felt it should have won Album of the Year, period.
I love
and
Igor.
Should have stayed out of the rap category.
Yeah.
But to me, that was my favorite album.
Well,
and to watch him do Igor and then go right to Call Me to Get Home is like, where are we ranking Tyler?
Yeah.
Because it has to be pretty fucking high if you can make Igor to the DJ drama shit.
Yeah, Tyler has to be on that Mount Rushmore convo when we talk about Drake, Cole.
I agree.
And Kendrick.
I agree.
Yeah, he's there.
And Nicki for, and Future and Tyler. Like,
for sure.
I know there's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore, but if we had to talk about from 2010 and 2020, those, like, I would Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Nicki, Future, and Tyler. That would.
I think Travis creaked up towards the end.
Little later. But
I'm putting Tyler right there as well.
Yeah. And so I would literally go on the booth, do my 1-2. And then, the conversations we had, he was like, yo, bro, like, I'm really about to be on my rap shit. Like, these niggas want to like almost as if
he did speaker box Love Below.
He did. And almost as if they played on his top.
Yeah,
where
Igor being Love Below.
He was like, yo, okay, like, let me show you where I come from. And he was highly inspired by the Pharrell Gangsta Grills.
Sure.
I don't think there would be a Call Me If You Get Lost if there wasn't a Pharrell in my mind, the prequel. And like, he would like, as I was doing my shit in the booth, he would just say, yo, we're on a boat. And I would say it and he would be like, oh my God. Late came to the second session, which we had maybe 2 months after the first one. I heard the music and he literally said right there, yo, y'all gonna win a Grammy for this. And like, as we were working, like, I knew it was special.
Can we show the Grammy?
Oh, of course
Can we get the Grammy?
There's a Grammy in my house.
There's a Grammy on the show.
That's kind of cool.
And
by the way,
crazy. I was with Rory.
This full circle. I was with you when you found out.
He was with me when we found out. We were at
won the Grammy?
When I won the Grammy, we were, instead of going to the Grammys, here it is.
That's fire.
Dreamville Fest had a DJ drama set, which was one of my favorite festivals, I think, ever.
Dreamville Fest had a DJ drama set. It was, and that idea came, we were in Houston during the Legends of the Streets tour, which was myself, Jeezy, Ross, 2 Chainz, Fab, Little Kim, Trina. The next night, Cole had his show. Cole came to the concert and, we were just, Cole, Ebe, and Sasha, me and Lake were up there talking, and we were like, bro, we could, like, this is some shit. Like, this is really supposed to be the Gangsta Grills tour. And Cole and Ebe and Sasha was like, what? It's Djing. Like, man, I'm in. Like, what we got to do? So they came to us with the idea to do a Gangsta Grills set during Dreamville. So it was, literally my first, I had done something at Roots Picnic a couple years prior, but this was like literally like DJ Drama presents Gangsta Grills featuring Lil Wayne, T.I., and Jeezy. So I get to the Dreamville in Carolina. Rory's there with me. The whole gang's there with me to go. It was the night of the Grammys to go, do our performance. As I'm sitting there with Rob Markman and with Wayno. Wayno literally looks at his phone and says, "This just in, Call Me If You Get Lost, best rap album. And I'm sitting there doing an interview like, yo, this is literally was one of the biggest nights of my career. Like, I win a Grammy and then I go on stage in front of 75,000 and perform with Wayne, Jeezy, and Tip. Like,
talk your shit.
How full circle is that?
Get your shit off. Crazy. Get your shit off, Drum. Yeah. I'm here to tell you to get your shit off, Drum. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and this is how hip hop drama is, like down to the core. Went from being on FaceTime with Fonte to then hopping on stage with Wayne, T.I., Jeezy, then getting off to accept his Grammy with Wayno.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty hip hop. Like if you go down,
yeah, it's a lot of layers, a lot of layers of hip hop.
Yo, I'm really from the cloth, man. Like I am the epitome of hip hop culture. Like I am like from the top, from Run DMC, from me wanting Adidas.
You paid your dues, brother.
To this, like.
And in between, Lake kicking people off stage.
Yeah, Lake, man, that was a rough night for Lake. Ooh, that was a rough night for Lake.
We can't talk about what was, never mind.
Ooh, it was tough.
Lake and I talked about it. There was some drama.
Lake's a good guy. Like, listen, man, Lake has been put in a lot of scenarios where he's had his hands full and he's
handled that perfectly.
He's an impeccable managerial person. Like the way he juggles and handles it all, it's like, you know, I wouldn't be here if me and Lake, you know, we've been friends since college, but we literally, I think it's been like 10 years, like maybe just a little over 10 years where we had a real business relationship, and we had done business before. Like Lake's always been there through my career. Lake interned at Rockefeller, like Lake managed Dog Pound, Lake managed Bobby V, like, you know, so Lake was, you know, was right next to Mace for many years and was in a management position. So, you know, he was out paying his dues, you know, when we were friends before we started to work together. And then, like, you know, I remember when I made Oh My, I told him, I was like, yo, I got a record. And he wound up coming to hear it. And, you know, he heard Oh My, because I was kind of off making records and songs at the time. Like I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Then I made Oh My. Then, you know, I had left Atlantic, went to E1, and, you know, me and Lake started to, like, when as I was building Mean Streets, I did Third Power album, which I kind of like almost like really just kind of rushed and put together. He helped me do that. And then we worked on Quality Street Music together. And we literally were in the studio every day working on that album, which I feel like is my best body of work. And even when I got my moment, like when T-Minus sent me my moment beat and I sent it to Jeremiah, Lake told me like, yo, this is going to be your biggest record thus far. And he was correct. And, you know, even with Wishing, like, you know, so, and then us coming back to form Generation Now, like it was just, you know, I'm really giving him his flowers right now. I know we were talking about
love it. No. But and I love how he don't know how to take compliments. I could tell he's like me. He's looking down at his phone. He's pretending he's not paying attention.
He's a guy that
he's now showing shit on his phone.
You know, first of all, let's give him his credit on his drip. Like he's the Fabulous of Generation Now. So and you'll never see it twice. His drip is crazy, and you know he's one of the smartest people I know. Like. And I'm so thankful to have him, you know, in my corner and like as a friend. You know, he holds me to the fire. He's not a yes man.
Yeah.
He tells me when I'm fucking up.
Very important.
You know, and I appreciate that. And, you know, me, him, and Cannon, we've known each other so long. So we know our strengths and we know our weaknesses. Yep. And we're very open with each other about it, like about who we are as people. And that, you know, I think we define like friends and business can mix, you know what I mean?
Right.
And back to Dreamville, he had a hell of a night trying to, you know, maneuver through that, and we made it happen, and it was dope.
I have my favorite video I've ever taken in my entire life is from that night, and I'll insert it here.
This was crazy. Yeah. But he warmed up. He warmed up after that. And yeah, by the time we got to like Swag Surf, he was
there.
Yeah, he was there. You know, but Wayne's the GOAT, bro. Like, you know, just even that, like being a part of his story and history. Like, you know, even thinking about like, yo, I named dedication on a whim. On a whim.
Not knowing.
Not knowing nothing.
Wow.
Like before I had heard any music, or before Katrina, or like before even realizing who Wayne was gonna become. Like I gotta give myself credit for like the genius of the things that come out of my brain. Like just name like dedication. Like it's so fitting.
Yeah. Him and Pac would, I guess, be the most dedicated rappers as far as sitting in that studio and putting music out.
It's so fitting. And it's like, yo, like, I said on Seti's tape, like, yo, true story, like before all this Gangsta Grill shit, like, you know, money was tight. Like I barely could pay my bills. I literally almost moved back to Philly and was thinking about like, damn, this shit it might not be it. Like I had a daughter, like I wasn't, you know, ends wasn't meeting. And imagine how many classics we wouldn't have today if I would have done that. Like, and you know, the song is called Can't Go. So it's like, yo, never go back. Like, you know, stay on your path. Like,
right.
But be dedicated. Process. Don't give false advice to people like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and not be dedicated. Right. And now you're getting evicted. We got some random rapid fire shit.
Okay.
Best Gangsta Grills mixtape moment, and outside of the feds, worst Gangsta Grills moment.
Best Gangsta Grills mixtape moment.
For you, behind the scenes, not like when a record hit, but like studio moment, artist moment, conversation moment.
I mean, Tyler is up there, but we've talked about that too much, so I want to give y'all something else. Damn, what else?
You
Can a song count?
Of course.
Okay, so Outkast was supposed to do a Gangsta Grills.
It's gonna be part of mine.
Wow.
Me, their manager at the time, Blue Williams,
no Blue,
Dre, and Big Boy all got on the phone. We were gonna do a Gangsta Grills. They were working. It was supposed to come out before Idlewild.
Okay.
Right, and I got a call, and they said, "Listen, Drum, honestly, as much as we want to do it, we don't have the time. Like we're working on the soundtrack and we're working on the movie, but we want to offer you a record for your album, like an Outkast record."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? Hell?
No.
Yeah, like, okay."
Right.
Also of our greatest song series ever.
Art of Storytelling.
Yeah.
So this had to be early 2007 or something, or maybe late 2006. So I started sending Dre, like every hot producer in the game beats. Like I sent him everybody's beats. I'm not gonna name no names, but at the time I was on fire. Everybody was sending me beats. Who was anybody? And I was sending them, and he was turning everything down. Nah.
This is Dr. Dre?
No, Andre
3000 for the
okay. 3000. I'm just talking about, but I was producers of a high caliber. He was turning them down. The raid happened. I actually had just did Jim Jones's 7 Day Theory.
Okay.
And there's a record on there that's fucking fire. The beat's fire. What's the name of it? You remember the name of it? Like the Jim Jones record? Forget the name of it, but it's on the 7 Day Theory. And I asked Cannon to make me a beat like that, right? So he made me a beat similar to that. And as soon as I got out, literally days after I got out of jail and the raid happened and everything, I had the beat and I sent it to Lake, who was working with Marsha at the time. And I called her and I was like, yo, like, listen, I need something like listen, like this is not the end for me. Like I can't be stopped. Nothing's gonna stop us. Like we're gonna keep going. And she literally took what I told her, and that was her hook. It's crazy because I was, I didn't get any publishing on the record. It's fucked up. Not, at the time I was still young and I wasn't aware. So, because I definitely like assisted her in what to say on the chorus. She sent it right. She sent it back to me. I sent it to 3000. He said, give me 24 hours. And the next day he sends me back his verse for the artist for that song. And I was like, damn, who should? So then I went to go see Big. And at the time I wasn't even like, I didn't know if it was going to be an Outkast record. I just had a 3000 verse. And then Big heard it and he was like, oh yeah, this is the one. And then he got on it and he named it The Art of Storytelling Part 4. And yeah, it's one of my most monumental moments in Gangsta Grill's history. Like I have an Outkast record, you know what I'm saying?
It's in hip hop history.
It's in hip hop history.
Not just Gangsta Grills.
I'm mad at myself again, being young and, not knowing what I know now that we didn't shoot a video for it. Cause Andre would have did it. Like he asked for 100,000 for the video, and respectfully, the label should have and probably would have paid for it, but
I think that was Andre 3000's way of saying I'm not doing a video.
Yeah. No, he would have. I think he would have did it
because he knew. No, I think he would have done it. I think he thought the label was not going to pay.
No,
that.
but they should have. They would have. I think they would have if I would have had the structure of the team that I have now. We'd have definitely gotten it done.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that shit probably would have got Grammy nominated as well if we would have went full throttle.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
Not doubting that.
And I'm gonna tell a worst moment. I'm gonna think of a worst moment. But another thing I am salty about that happened with that album was there was a record and it didn't get cleared. It wound up leaking. It's on the internet. But I had a record that Just Blaze did. It was the first time Just Blaze and Lil Wayne worked together.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was called $1 Million.
Yep.
It was called $1 Million Baby. And I was on that. Wayne was spitting, and the hook was me pretty much being his trainer. So there's two versions on the internet. There's a version with me on there, and there's a version without me on there.
I think I heard the one without you.
That they leaked.
Yeah.
But there's the version with me on there is me actually as his coach talking about, yo, you got to hit him with a left to the body, stick and move. Okay, da-da-da, And at the end of the record, it's like Wayne saying Gangsta Grills, no braces. That was because I had the Canon record, like I couldn't get to Wayne records cleared for the album. So it never made the album and it wound up leaking sometime after.
Do you play the Diddy interlude at Thanksgiving dinners? Is that like a tradition or?
I should. Yeah, I should. It's a hell of an interlude. Your first album is like, I think I had like 20 songs on there. So I was just
all the favors that you was
trying to do the most. Like I was trying to do the most. Just over the top. It's your first album. I wanted
going crazy.
Everything. Like I had fucking D-Dot doing skits and Puff doing skits.
Yeah.
And Riggs was setting up the whole Fed situation. Like,
Well, that was towards, I don't want to say the demise, but G-Unit was kind of breaking up at that time. Was there talks of 50 being on because it's what? Banks, Yayo, and Buck?
It's Banks, Yayo, and Bucks. I don't know what, that I didn't have the relationship with Fifth then that I have now. I did try to get him on a song and we couldn't get him on a record. But of course I definitely wanted 50 on the song and on the album. But, that was it. That was during the Curtis era. So
yeah, that's
Fifth
probably
was
Curtis
still
era.
like,
I Get Money was out.
yeah, Fifth was fucking on fire. So yeah, I wasn't able to get 50 for that album.
Do you think Andre 3000 should have fucked homie's girl? She was already cheating.
I mean, I'm not into fucking other niggas' girls, so I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
What's the
It's a story. Call me when y'all break up.
Why haven't we gotten a Rick Ross Gangsta Grills?
We've missed it. There was a time early on Def Jam where it did come up and it didn't happen. But there's no like there should definitely be one. So, and there could still potentially be one. I mean, I'm definitely down to work with Ross. I love Ross. I was one of his first supporters, with Hustlin'. I'm the first person to ever play Hustlin' outside of Miami, and I broke it on Atlanta radio when we had Gangsta Grills radio. I'm in the video. Like,
I think Cypher Sounds might argue with you.
He might. I mean, he was in New York, but Khaled played it first in Miami, and like I can definitely say I was the first in Atlanta.
I'm just trying to start DJ beef again.
Shout to Cypher, shout my man Cypher. But yeah, we definitely were very early on that record, and I was there very early on in Ross's career, and we've always had a great relationship. He's done. He was on a record just recently. I did 360 a couple of years ago with him and West Side Gun. I have a record on my album called Clouds on Quality Street Music with Miguel, Ross, Pusha, and Currency. So yeah, me and Ross, that's my guy. Like that's, I just think it's one of those ones that got missed. It definitely sounds crazy that Ross doesn't have a gangster.
Yeah, that's why
I think Push too.
It's definitely crazy. When I tweeted that the other day, a lot of people were saying Push's names, but I did do a clips tape.
Yeah,
we did. I did. Got It for Cheap Volume 3. So yeah. I mean, in a sense,
I would like to see Re-Up Gang,
I've done
Gangsta
Push.
Grills.
Yeah,
that would be.
But it was the Re-Up Gang. It was Re-Up Gang. We Got It for Cheap Volume 3.
Yeah. Outside of music.
So you said the worst. What was the
Oh yeah, the worst. I'm sorry, we did miss that.
What was the question?
The worst moment
aside from the feds
in Gangsta Grills mixtape series. It may be some shit that the public never knew. Something in the studio. Verses that didn't come in.
Well, two. I mean, the biggest mistakes of my career are two things. When in 2005, when I moved from where Gangsta Grills started into my first condo, I bought my first condo. I had just gotten into magazines, and I was feeling myself, and I had a box of every flyer that my name had ever been on.
That's amazing.
Like since fucking 93 or 94 to 2005. And I had it, and it was all in one box of my flyers. When I moved, my landlord called me and said, "Yo, you left this box behind."
Oh shit.
And I was like, I don't need it. Because I was like, I'm in magazines now. Like, I don't need those flyers. And he threw it out. Years later, there was a DJ from Chicago named DJ Drama who sent a cease and desist to Atlantic and said, I own the name DJ Drama. If you guys put this album out with DJ Drama, I'm going to sue you. So my first two albums on Atlantic just say Drama. They don't say DJ Drama.
Oh, yeah.
I had to buy the name from the rapper.
Okay.
Who was at the time incarcerated, Drama, who was signed to Atlantic. So I gave him, I paid him 10 grand to use the name Drama, because I tried to give the DJ Drama guy 50 grand. He wouldn't accept it. I hired a private investigator to go hunt him down. Couldn't find him.
Yeah.
And then at the time, my lawyer told me, well, if you can prove that you've been using that name for X amount of years,
and you don't have the box of flyers no more.
Yeah.
I threw all my fucking flyers out.
Crazy.
And just for memorabilia, like where I am in my career now, like the fact that I don't have that is like
NFT space, the whole shit.
thinking?
Yeah.
Feeling yourself.
I was feeling
Like, fuck them
myself,
flyers.
bro.
I'm in magazines now. I'm gonna fuck about
So
them
around the
flyers.
same time when I moved, I put all my record collection, all my photo albums, all that stuff in storage. I had a storage unit from 2005 till, to my knowledge, to now. Just recently, I went looking for it, right? When COVID hit, I had this other phone. I had another phone number. It was a T-Mobile, and the phone was broke. And the T-Mobile stores were closed. And that's how I used to pay my bill for my storage unit. They would call me on that number. And by the time the T-Mobile, for some reason, I couldn't push 611 to get into the phone, right? So by the time the T-Mobile stores opened up and I went to go get the phone fixed, they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that number anymore." And I'm like, "Yo, you fucks! I've been with y'all for 15 years. Like, how can you not give me the number? It was COVID. I couldn't come into the store.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get the number back. So then, and again, I moved into my house in 2017. If I was smart, I would have went to my storage unit, took everything out, and put it into my crib where I had space. Just recently, I started to want to go on a search to go find the storage unit because it had been so long, I didn't even remember where it was. My assistant, shout out to Michaela, she finally found it.
That shit was on Storage Wars.
She finally found it. I called them up and they said, oh yeah, we sold it up. We auctioned it off.
Of course.
And I was like, yo, like, no, like, bro, that was my whole life. Like,
yeah.
So, I guess the laws of storage is if after 90 days, they're able to auction it off if you don't pay the bill. And I was like, yo, I tried to explain it to him. And I was like, look, I understand the records are probably gone, but those photo albums, like, that's history. I had pictures of Lauryn Hill, like, holding my mixtape when I first got to Atlanta. Like, just shit like that. Like,
whoever bought that unit, they thought they got some shit. What if they're not into hip hop?
Hold on.
No, but
Okay.
that's the scam.
So I called him. I was like, yo, if please, like, I'm a public figure. Like, I know this is going against it. Can y'all please just help me track it down?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to see if I can kind of come up on it. So then so mind you, then I did the math from 2005 to 2020. So they basically wound up telling me they auctioned it off November 20th, 2020. So between 2005 and 2020, I literally paid them $25,000 in monthly fees for the storage unit. I said, how much did you auction it off for? They said, somebody bought it for $393.13.
Is that an angel number?
Not even $400.
Probably has that at a pawn shop in West Bubblefuck where no one's going to buy it.
Hold on.
If it was in the middle of Atlanta, maybe somebody would buy it.
So then I'm like, so then they were like, yeah, we didn't have any way to contact you. I guess the business has changed, so they didn't have an email. The lady that worked there felt bad. I was like, yo, can you at least try? I gave her a couple of dollars on the side to try to help me find the person who bought it.
Give her $400.
Overpaying.
Found the guy. He was an older white man who buys storage units. He didn't want to, he was like, because that's people's livelihood.
Oh, no,
absolutely. So he was
hustle.
like, yo, I don't want to be known. She wound up calling him on the side. He tells her, I sold all the records to a store in Atlanta and I threw out all the photo albums.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, that's crazy. That hurts.
The two biggest mistakes of my career.
Hurts. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
Hurts, bro.
Yeah, that hurts.
The record collection, the photo albums, my flyers, like that's literally my legacy.
Yeah.
That I don't
That's your paper
pass
trail.
off to kids. Yeah.
Sad, bro. So yeah,
that's
anybody
tough.
out there watching this, like, yo, hold on to your shit. Don't fill yourself too much.
Right.
Yeah,
even if you get
be a hoarder in a good way.
Yeah, like hoard your history, like your memorabilia. Like even for when my story's told, like when it's time to do the documentary, like
I
don't.
That hurts.
It hurts my soul, bro.
Yeah,
it hurts my soul.
I get it. Well, this was on my rapid fire. Good transition. Where do you find fulfillment outside of work and family?
I'm a movie buff, so I'll literally, whether it's on my computer or at the house or in my theater room in my crib or going to the movies, like I watch movies, documentaries.
What's your favorite Godfather?
2. Yeah, definitely 2.
Favorite Martin Scorsese movie?
Either The Departed or Raging Bull.
Okay.
I mean, there's Taxi Driver, there's Shutter Island.
Underrated.
Yeah, Shutter Island's dumb underrated. I'm tripping. Goodfellas. I'm bugging.
I mean, this ain't hip hop if you don't say Goodfellas.
My bad. Yeah, Goodfellas is number 1.
Yeah.
Departed might be number 2.
But just shows Drama's career as far as doing Raging Bull to then Departed. That's
I'm really
Gangsta Grills with T.I. and then that's Jack Harlow.
that's how I
just
look at
totally different
exactly
sides of his career.
I look at my career like a director.
Yeah, Raging Bull at the beginning, and then Departed was a new generation.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to leave out Goodfellas like that.
I was a little offended.
You got to say Casino too. I've lived that.
Now, we and Rory talked about this just last week.
Okay.
Goodfellas or Casino?
Goodfellas.
Agreed.
I don't know, man.
Goodfellas.
A Casino, man.
And it's going to sound offensive. I don't even
Casino
think
is
it's
too
even close.
personal to me.
You lost a lot in Vegas, or
no? I've had gingers in my life.
Oh yeah,
that's why
I didn't want to go there.
Movie because you can relate to it more.
Nah, I need to.
Nah,
I like
man. It has to be a better movie for that.
Too relatable.
That's what I'm saying. So those are the best movies.
Oh, I can't.
You can't.
Yeah, but if you're gonna relate to something as someone that has had a few gingers themselves,
yeah,
it's not the one thing you want to relate to. I don't need to watch this movie. It's bringing back bad memories.
Yeah.
Nothing Henry Hill did, I've done before, so it's fun to watch.
Lake wound up watching it recently and was like, bro, I watched it and was like, damn, this is your life.
That's crazy. Classic fucking movie.
No shots.
At Ginger?
Yeah, at Martin Scorsese. Yeah, good. But yeah, rest in peace to Ray Liotta too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And besides that, vacationing. I'm a water. If I wasn't a DJ, I would want to be a surfer. I said this on Future the Movie, you know, because, you know, I ride waves better than anyone. Like, you know, my waves have lasted longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a surfer. Like, the way I've navigated through hip hop has been like a surfer. Like, I came up watching the Roots and fucking DJing for Bahamadia to being a part of T.I. and Jeezy to Uzi and Jack Harlow and now Tyler and like, you know, I'm the Silver Surfer. Shout to Mac.
Have you surfed on vacation?
I've never. No, the white side.
Don't tell me you never got in the water and surfed after all of that.
No,
boogie boarded.
This is gonna be our next segment. The three of us are going to an island and we are gonna take surfing lessons.
Any war, like my dream goal is.
Can you swim?
I'm a fish.
Okay.
Like snorkeling when they try to give you the life.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here. I'm jumping right in. No vest.
Okay.
Like so. I'm a fish when it comes to water. Like I love water. I love vacationing where there's water and, you know, with something soft next to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Helps on vacation.
Yeah. I like having
that's a vacation.
I like having
in case you jump on the coral.
Right.
But yeah, movies and vacations with oceans, you know, those are where I find tranquility.
Okay.
Well, listen, man, I just want you to last question. Verzuz. Who wins, you or DJ Khaled?
How about we just do it and let's see who wins?
Okay. I'm with you.
Do we throw Clue in the mix?
You could throw anybody in the mix. And let's see who wins.
I like that's the JD energy.
Yeah.
When everyone was saying Puff, Drake, JD's like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
No one else wants to do it.
I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And, you know,
what do you play against Wild Thoughts?
And salute to Khaled. Like, you know, both guys have, you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for DJ Clue.
Right.
And Khaled has set the bar for DJs to an incredible level.
Absolutely.
You know? But yeah, when it comes down to verses, like what? Like I got a lot of cultural records.
Absolutely.
Like I am not to be underestimated. So, like, you know, I see Swizz and Tim going through something with verses, but like, yo, I've been calling niggas out for over a year now. Like, what? If my name comes, if they want it to happen, I'm ready. I'm taking anybody, when it comes to that space. And like, yeah, do I get to play Lil Uzi Vert and Jack Harlow? Because that's part of my repertoire too.
Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, if it's on my mixtape, I'm playing it, and it's my song.
I just think there's a lot of stuff before you get to Uzi, and as much as I love Uzi and Jack, I don't know if they even make the 20.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit.
I don't know.
I want to see it.
Set it up.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Set it up.
I know you did mixtapes for Fab and for Wayne, but how did you feel witnessing me smoke Maul in the Wayne versus Fab versus on live during COVID?
Mom, what happened?
That's what I want to know.
A lot of the records that, first of all, in all fairness,
anytime you say first of all, you know some bullshit is coming.
I didn't even want to do it that night, but Rory was adamant on doing it. So I said, all right, let's do it.
We announced it.
I didn't realize a lot of the Fab records that I wanted to play were not like I had to go to like other apps to get them. Like I had to go to Dat Piff. I had to go, and it was just like
it was a mixtape Verzuz.
Yeah, but I thought I had a lot of that in my laptop already, but I didn't because I had a whole new laptop, and I just wasn't prepared for that.
So you were Dipset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you didn't.
Absolutely.
You didn't come prepared.
Absolutely. For sure.
And,
Rory,
and I was kissed when it said, yo, Tech, throw something on.
Yeah, Rory. Yeah.
But I still think that Fab doesn't get enough credit for his mixtape.
And I think you're part of the reason.
Nah, of course. I mean, even Fab's verses should have went different. Like, you know, he was too laid back and not prepared. Like, you know, Kiss in his verses came more ready, like, you know.
And when you add in the Locks and Bad Boy era, Fab is a legend, but it's tough to go against that type of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Fab is one of my favorites of all time, and the way he's navigated his career, and his, you know, through 20 years, like I don't think he even gets the credit he deserves for his bars. Like even with the new, even with Forever, like, you know, that verse is a little older. Yeah. And like when I told him I was ready to put the record out, he was mad at me because he was like, yo, like that old ass verse. I'm like, nigga, like it's still hard. Out. Yeah. Like you're spitting, like stop it. Like I could see if it was like an old reference in there that was like
that time stamped it.
Yeah, that time stamped it, but it wasn't like. And Fab is, you know, is one of those, you know, one of the greats with, you know, great bars, and Wayne versus Fab is a hell of a verses, but yeah, you got smoked.
Yeah, it was bad. It's okay. It's all right.
It happens.
And those are two guys that, you know, I was on there because, you know, I was so hyped that it was two guys that I had so much like music with too. So I was, you know, from a egotistical standpoint, I was
just wanted to hear it.
Yeah,
it was gonna be you.
Yeah, I was just hyped to hear my drops and my voice all through it, and I was all in the comments like,
Yeah, it was fun. I kind of miss. That was probably the better part of COVID when we was just trying to find ways to be entertained.
I feel like Verzuz was better in that. Although I'm glad we got the Locks and Dips where we got it.
Yeah, I'm glad we got Jeezy and Gucci
in the same room. Yeah,
Brandy.
That would have never happened on Verzuz. I think
probably would have been safer if it would have been on phones.
It was a safe night. It was good. I was there. It was a good night. Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of them like DMX and Snoop, but again, like amazing. I think the culmination of what Dipset and the Locks was like. I'm sure y'all felt the same way. Like I was literally in front of my television, like a 13-year-old girl watching a Justin Bieber concert.
I like, still rewatch.
It was
Locks first Dipset to this day. Like I still rewatch it.
We just watched it on the bus, like on tour.
Like I just throw this shit on TV.
The thing I didn't like before was online. Everybody had like even Rory the Dips was gonna kill him. I'm like, y'all don't know the Locks was signed with like.
Can we go back in the tape?
Bad Boy.
I don't remember saying that. I mean,
this was the other podcast.
You know.
I know, and I remember saying that Dips will get New York, but Locks has the world, and everyone killed me for saying that. It's the other way around. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, I went
feel
on.
like you had the Dips winning though.
I did. I went on. I went on y'all ex's.
I don't think
show.
So.
He called me.
My ex's show.
And I went. And
another ginger.
He called me, and you know, I was on there saying that I thought Dips was going to take it. I guess I don't know if he had heard I said it, but we had it out, and I had to call and apologize that I was wrong. And then on the Breakfast Club, I guess Styles caught that that I said that, and when they asked him, they was like, "Yo, who are you upset about that?" Like, you know, counted y'all out, and Styles was like, "Drum, like I did it." Gangsta Grills with Drum. Like, how did Drum count me out? And I was like, damn. And then Kiss was like, nah, Drum's getting too much money. He doesn't even know what's going on.
And that's not true. I'm taking my flowers because we were at the Lloyd Banks concert backstage, and I told P right before they did it, a few days, I said, if y'all don't come out to fuck you, you shouldn't play it.
Oh, you called that one?
And Styles gave me the credit afterwards and said, when I seen Rory, he said, play fuck you first. That's the way to start. Ooh. Yeah, no, I had the Locks.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And you had...
listen, it was recorded, so I could be totally wrong, but I know for a fact I told you.
Lake had the Locks.
You can't be signed with Bad Boys and the Rough Riders. Like, it's just too much shit there, bro.
But what I will say is the Locks benefited from the way the platform was
absolutely
at the time.
Sure,
If it would have been
we were at
old
home
verses
on the phone,
on the phones,
no.
it would have been different.
Yeah.
Because of us seeing their chemistry as a group and because of their showmanship and Dipset, like,
and Kiss is a better rapper than people think.
Yeah, like if we'd have just been at home, they would have been playing songs, it would have rang off a little different. But the Locks put on a master class, like,
legendary night.
And I would do the same fucking thing if I get my verses. I'm really like that.
And now I think about him versus Khaled, because Khaled we know is obviously extremely charismatic and talks. But I think you would be his match in that. I think you could beat Khaled in the pause to talk game too.
Set it up.
Khaled might outperform you.
I think Rock
He's
Nation.
Get into his
not
shit.
to bring you back to it. They
You
would
gonna
have to
just
set it
let
up.
the records go.
Wait. Did you not? Oh, you lost your wallet, so you didn't see what I did on stage
At Barclays. No,
Yeah, you don't.
I lost my wallet going in the building.
He got robbed, is what he meant.
Go to my Instagram. So you got to see what I do on stage.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm really like that.
Okay.
Like, I'm the full package.
All right.
Yeah, nobody's outperforming me.
All right. I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't even get the connection between Tyler's beef with Khaled. Oh yeah, this could get messy. This could get really messy.
I just want to be there.
Because you got to bring Tyler out against Khaled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about. Yeah, I play my fucking Grammy Award winning album.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Let's make it happen.
It'll be fun.
Man. Versus got to make that happen.
It would be great for the culture, man.
No, absolutely.
Khaled is an enormous figure within the culture. He's done some amazing things.
Khaled's a GOAT. Khaled is a GOAT.
You know, I don't know if you get him on here if he's going to tell you the same about me, but
no, Khaled will only talk to Elliott Wilson. He won't talk to him.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with saluting anybody in the game. I'll give them their flowers, well deserving. But listen, I am like, if we talking verses and we talking 20 records, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Khaled plays Wild Thoughts. What do you play?
I'm not telling.
Okay. I like it.
You saw it, I was like, I'm not telling.
But guess what?
I'm trying to get this moving.
But guess what? We've talked about it. We got it all set.
You have your set ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Then
respectfully, there's gonna be certain artists that might have to do some records with him and then do some with me. Because we definitely have
work with the same artist. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shit, that would actually be great how they did the Locks and Dipset where it was like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wayne 15 minutes. Back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne would probably get exhausted. But if you did per artist for rounds and then do Lake versus Lenny S for the undercard.
Because there is a verse.
Look at that undercard.
Lake versus Lenny S. I'm taking Lake. There was a verses. Wasn't there verses where an artist had to come out and do a song with both, or no, that hasn't happened yet?
No, you were talking about. He's talking about Ray J and RSVP, Sammy, Bobby V.
That was a great one too.
That was a fucking classic night.
Yeah, that was a classic. RSVP.
That was a classic night.
We got a great group out of it.
We got that for free.
Have y'all watched? Do y'all watch Bobby V and Ray J on live?
Yes.
It is the funniest.
I'm waiting for the show.
Did you see the one where they were like harmonizing and Ray was like, "Now you go. Now you go. No. It's like this. Like,
it's the greatest shit ever.
Yo, them niggas
by accident.
That's
the greatest accident the culture has ever gotten.
We
Absolutely.
need that TV show.
That's hilarious. Well, we've kept you here long enough. This was amazing.
We appreciate you coming by, kicking it with us, man. We wanted to just salute you and say congrats on everything, bro.
I appreciate that.
I feel like your name is not mentioned enough when we start talking about labels and executives. Like, we definitely need to start mentioning you more. So we appreciate you coming by, kicking it with us.
Absolutely, man. I thank y'all.
And salute on the Grammy, because that's fucking huge.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to talk about the shit you and I are trying to put together, or should we wait? Not trying to put together, putting together.
We could tease it a little bit. Yeah.
There is some podcast, Gangsta Grills.
There's something in the works.
Centered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout
synergy, all the buzzwords.
Shout to my brother Kenya Barris.
Yes.
Shout to Kenya Barris.
And Weezy.
Go ahead.
Not the rapper, just Weezy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Weezy the podcast.
Shout to Weezy. She said she was gonna come on. She's doing her podcast right now. Congratulations to her too. But yeah, definitely have some Gangsta Grills podcast situations in the works,
which I'm really excited about.
Yeah,
so
dope. Well, thank you, man. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon. We got to come catch you on the road. Come one of the shows. I got to see the show because I didn't see it at Barclays.
Please do, because when you just said that about showmanship and on stage,
I got to come see it.
I took that a little personal.
I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize. Thank you, bro. We appreciate you.
You wanted me to talk about shit. I've been talking about shit.
Oh, you have.
Mal, Rory,
I love
appreciate it. Congrats to y'all, man.
Thank you.
All the success and everything.
Thank you.
You know
appreciate you, man.
Love.
No, RoryAndMal.